Hello, today we are going to be going through a dynamic warm-up for a hockey athlete, and this is presented to you by Phoebe Wallace,
Avery Kelly,
Jonathan Wagner.
The first section of the ramp protocol is going to be the R, which stands for raise. This phase is intended to elevate body temperature, respiration rate, heart rate, blood flow, and joint fluid viscosity. The exercises are listed below. The first exercise within the raise section of a warm-up is a 3-minute skip. This can be done in any area that the athlete has. This is a good place to start as it is an anaerobic exercise that is going to help raise those elements that we spoke about before. This skip should be at a comfortable pace that the athlete can maintain throughout the 3-minute session. Skipping was chosen as it mimics the movement of skating better than a jog, as more hip flexion is required along with a wider gait. As you can see, Avery is going at a pace that is comfortable for her. The second and last exercise of our raise phase is going to be 30 jumping jacks. As you can see, Avery is making sure that she is simultaneously widening her legs and elevating her arms above her head. This is a great anaerobic exercise that is going to get us warm and prepared to continue to the next phase of our ramp protocol. Stationary, activate, and mobilize. This is going to be like the stretching element of a normal workout. The involvement of key movement patterns that focus on moving through the full range of motion, motor control, stability, and flexibility will be of the most benefit to the athlete. For ease, we will begin with all the exercises below as they remain in one place.
This exercise is called windmills. The athlete will stand with their feet a little greater than shoulder width apart. Raising both hands above your head, you're going to touch one hand to the opposite foot. So right hand to left foot and left hand to right foot as demonstrated. You're going to repeat this 10 times on each side. This exercise is good for the flexors and abductors of the shoulder, trunk rotators, and hip flexors. Side lunges are a good exercise for targeting the hip abductors. Since players are generating a lot of power in their hips while skating on the ice, it is important for them to be as warm and ready to go as possible. For this exercise, you are going to begin standing greater than shoulder width apart with your feet turned slightly outward. With your hands together and held towards the center of your chest, you're going to shift your weight to one side, which will cause your knee to bend while the leg you're moving away from is extended. From this position, you'll return to the middle and then move to the other side. You're going to repeat this exercise 10 times for each side. The next exercise is called alternating arm twists. This exercise will target the internal and external rotators of the shoulder. First, you're going to extend both your arms to make a T. Then, you're going to twist one arm forward as shown. You are then going to twist the other arm backward as demonstrated. Once you feel comfortable performing both of these movements separately, try performing them together, and do this 10 times. A tip is to twist one arm first before twisting the other arm to get used to the feeling. This exercise is called hip openers and is really good for the hip abductors. You're going to have one foot planted on the ground. Your hands are going to go behind your head. Shifting the weight to the foot that's planted and having your knee at 90 degrees, you're going to raise the leg up to the side and back to its starting position, making sure your core is engaged at all times. A good way to think of this exercise is drawing a circle with your leg. If you're struggling to balance, try finding one point to focus on. An alternative method would be holding onto a wall for better stability, still maintaining an upright posture with core engaged. You're going to want to complete this exercise 10 times for each leg. Front leg swings is an exercise that targets the hip flexors and extensors. For this exercise, you're going to place one hand on a wall for stability, and you're going to swing your leg forward and backward, making sure to engage your core as shown. Here is a front and a side view of this exercise. You will want to complete 10 leg swings for each side, avoiding overextending and flexing your back, as this is not the target of this exercise. Side leg swings are similar to front leg swings, the only difference being the plane in which this exercise is performed. For this exercise, you're going to place both hands onto a wall for stability. With one foot planted on the ground, you're going to swing the other leg side to side, ensuring your core is engaged at all times as shown. You're going to want to complete this exercise 10 times for both the right and the left leg. This exercise targets the hip abductors and adductors.
This section of Activate and Mobilize has the same goal as the stationary element. For the next 5 exercises, you'll need to find about 25 to 50 meters to conduct them while moving. Side shuffle arm swings are completed with continuous arm hugs and side shuffles as seen. This exercise is great for warming up the shoulders with horizontal ab and adduction. Also a great warm-up for the calves. As you can see, the athlete completes this on their toes. Walking lunges with trunk rotation. For this exercise, we will go into a front lunge and then complete trunk rotation towards the side where the leg is forward. This is a great exercise as it is going to warm up the hamstrings, quadriceps, and glutes for the lunge portion. The trunk rotation is also going to help prepare the core for exercise. For scoops, you're going to want to put your front leg into full extension and you're going to sweep your hands upwards. Take a few steps and conduct the same movement with the opposite leg forward. Do this for the length of the area chosen. Watch the demonstration and understand that this warm-up is to help warm up the hamstrings and calves. For high knees, you're going to want to raise your knees and get them to about a 90-degree angle. This is a quick movement, as you can see by Jonathan. This is a great warm-up and helps the glutes and legs. Butt kicks are a movement that warms up the hamstrings. For this movement, you're going to want to move at a reasonable pace, as demonstrated by Jonathan, and you're going to want the heel of your foot to hit your butt.
The last section of this warm-up is potentiate. This section of the warm-up is the prime our athlete with high-intensity, sport-specific drills. As we progress through this section, the intensity will increase to the load of the activity on that day. Our first exercise are karaokes. The purpose of this exercise is to get our athlete accustomed to lateral movements with trunk and hip rotation. The athlete should remain upright with their heads looking forward as they rotate their hips and swing their arms through horizontal ab and adduction. It is a great warm-up exercise as it prepares the hip, trunk, and shoulders for exercise. The athlete should do this in a 50 to 75 meter space for 2 rounds. 1 round is to both sides of the space. Next are powered jump squats. This exercise is to get the lower extremities ready for any powered movements during a match or practice. This exercise incorporates a deep squat led by an explosive jump out of the lowest portion of the movement as demonstrated. The athlete then will take 2 steps forward and repeat this process through a 50 to 75 meter space. This exercise is used to warm up the hip flexors, extensors, your knee extensors, and both ankle dorsiflexors and plantar flexors. The athlete will complete this for 1 round. Lastly, quick feet for 3 seconds into a sprint. This specific exercise allows athletes to mimic what will happen on the ice rink when moving from one side to the next. Furthermore, it is a power-based movement just like the jump squats, having our athletes drive into the ground and push it away from them forcefully. The athlete should also focus on driving their legs up quickly to generate adequate force in the descent back to the ground. The main muscle groups this will target are your hip flexors and extensors, ankle dorsiflexors and plantar flexors, knee flexors and extensors, and shoulder flexors and extensors. You will hold yourself stable throughout this movement. To increase intensity, you will start sprinting to 50 meters and then that 75 after 2 rounds.
Thank you for completing our dynamic ramp warm-up. You are now ready to conquer the ice.